Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and I am bringing you guys my review for The Walking Dead Season 8 Episode 10, which was titled The Lost and the Plunderers. So, before I get into it, let me just say this episode was fantastic. I think this is one of the greatest non-action episodes we've ever had in the entire series. Because, the episodes that tend to be the better episodes are usually the more action-heavy episodes, like Too Far Gone, No Way Out, the Season 7 finale, episodes like that. The ones that are more action-heavy tend to be the ones people like more, No Sanctuary, stuff like that. People, say that's their favorite. And it makes sense, action is intense. I do enjoy action. I think action definitely makes the enjoyment of this show a lot better. It makes anything more entertaining. It makes all forms of media more entertaining. But there are tons of episodes this show does, and I think this is what The Walking Dead does so well, is they make it so entertaining even when there's no action. And this episode didn't really have action other than a few scenes. But the dialogue was so well done. Now, there was like 3 different writers for this episode. I think Angela Kang, a couple others. So I'm not too sure exactly who gets the credit for doing the amazing writing. But this episode probably had the best writing this season, at least, for sure. Some of the best writing we've ever seen. I mean, man, dude, the writing was just on point. The dialogue was very realistic. It was very character developing. It was well done, man. It was just well delivered. Everything was. I don't know if it was just the actors, but I think it just was a combination of the actors and the dialogue. It would just really fit well. And I also like how the episode was split up, because one thing people like to complain about is they like to complain about bottle episodes. Episodes only focus on one group at a time, sort of a thing, which Walking Dead used to do that often. They haven't really done that in a long time. So, but the one thing I always said is an advantage about doing those episodes is it keeps things more organized. So it's not like you're jumping back and forth between different scenes, kind of like last episode, which was jumping back and forth between 2 different stories at once. But the reason why that worked is because of the contrast and the parallels they had between the 2 stories, and that worked. They can do it in ways that work, of course. But sometimes, it feels jumbled. It feels, out of place, and sometimes it confuses the storylines. That you can get confused as what the hell is happening. But the way they split up this episode, because we had like tons of different storylines going on at once, and the way they split it up with like the characters being introduced in the beginning with the name, I was confused at first. When I saw Michonne pop up on the screen, her name, I was like, what? Like, why is her name there? Is that like supposed to be something important? I had no idea. But of course, after we started getting more and more, then I realized, they're each little section of the episode, there's going to be split up in 6 sections, and each section is going to be kind of tailored towards one specific character. Of course, there's going to be other characters in there, but it's going to be primarily development for one character, and that means that one part is going to be focused on that character. It's going to be in their point of view as well, so it's kind of interesting. I wonder, those 6 characters, I wonder if there's going to be an importance of those 6 characters, which 6 characters, if you want me to go over them again, were Rick, Michonne, Negan, Simon, Enid, and Jadis. Those 6. I don't know what's the importance behind them. I feel like there's gotta be something there, man. There's gotta, because I feel like it's weird how they would choose this episode to do something like this, where they put the character names, to kind of tell us what characters are being developed each part. And I feel like there's something deep in there. There is definitely something deep to it, and I'm interested to see. So I'm going to go through each part of the episode, starting with the beginning, which we had Michonne. I thought that was incredible, the whole Michonne-Rick sequence in Alexandria, saying goodbye to Alexandria. Probably the last time we're going to see Alexandria until maybe like a little sequence of the Season 8 finale, and we're not going to actually be like in it for a while until like Season 9. But, it's sad. It's not but gone forever. People are acting like it's going to be gone forever, but trust me, if you read the comics, it's coming back Season 9. They're going to rebuild everything. It's going to work out, the way it's supposed to, and you'll just have to wait and see for Season 9 if you haven't read the comics. But, I don't know, I really like this scene, especially how Michonne found the handprints on the thingy. That was pretty beautiful. And the soundtrack, throughout the whole episode, the soundtrack was very good. During this scene in particular, it was very good. Very well done, just like every episode in the entire series. Soundtrack's amazing. Then we go on to Negan. Now, Negan, they did a pretty good job with development of him, not just during this scene, but also during the Rick and Negan scene at the end of the episode. But I'm going to focus on just him here. You really get to learn more about him and what his method is, and its method is not as crazy as people make it out to be. I mean, people are like, Negan's terrible, he's this terrible person, he deserves to die. Yeah, he's killed some of Rick's people, but you gotta look at the opposite side. How many of Negan's people did Rick kill? A lot more. Really think about it. Of course, Negan's people has killed more of Rick's group, but Negan himself, personally, he's only killed Glenn, Abraham, and Spencer. That's it. That is it. I mean, of course, his people have gotten other people killed. He's ordered his people to kill other people. But him himself, him personally killing, he's only done those 3 people. And of course, I'm sure Rick doesn't really care much about Spencer. So Glenn and Abraham are really the only major ones that Negan killed. When you really think about it, it's small. And there's a reason why they're doing that. They're not making Negan not kill Rick's people, often. They're not doing that on on accident or just because they don't want Negan to kill. No, that's not it. They literally are doing it because they don't want Rick to hate Negan too much to the point where he will want him dead no matter what. Of course, we see Rick say that. He's said he's going to kill Negan plenty of times, and I love how they brought it up in their conversation later, but we'll get into that in a minute. But seeing the back and forth between Negan and Simon too was very, very cool. I like their little, interactions they have. Their back and forth between different ideologies. Simon's I want to kill all, and work your way through there. But Negan's more like, no, we fix it. It's kind of like the saying, if it's broken, don't fix it, or not. If it's broken, don't fix it. I don't know. I forgot the saying, but you get the idea. Like, if something's broken, Simon would rather just throw it out, but Negan would rather fix it. That's kind of what I was trying to get out there. I think that's the better way of saying it. I don't know, but or I think no. The saying is, if it's not broken, don't fix. Whatever. I don't think that saying portrays to what I was trying to point out. Anyways, we get that, which is cool. The Enid, Aaron, Oceanside scenes, they weren't the most interesting. People were saying that, but people were calling it filler and stuff like that. It's not filler. It's needed for the Oceanside and the development of their community. It's very much needed. Just because, you don't like those characters, you don't care about them, doesn't mean it's filler. It just means, sit there and wait. Be patient. Wait for the scenes you're interested in. If you really don't want to see that, I mean, it's your problem, not mine. But I enjoyed it. It was really short. I think it got to the point pretty fast. And I'm interested in seeing more of that community. People are not really liking the community. I'm interested in it. I definitely am. I don't really know what the hell Aaron's doing there, but we'll have to wait and see what he does. Then we get into what I think is the best part of the episode. The second half of the episode is way more superior than the first half. That's definitely the truth. So we start off with Simon. Simon gets his much-needed development, and I think we can all come to the agreement here that Simon is a fucking psychopath, dude. A freaking absolute psychopath. I mean, just the shot they did on his face while they were shooting down the garbage people was beautiful. I thought it was so heartbreaking for Jadis. I mean, look, the garbage people have been definitely a controversial Walking Dead thing for a while. Like, tons of people I've seen say it's a waste of a storyline. They say these people are stupid. Why are they in the story? Can't they just die already? All blah, blah, blah. And they're also saying it's unrealistic, that they speak the way they do, that they act the way they do. And I kept saying, ever since Season 7, Episode 10, which is weird, they actually all survived exactly a season. They died a season later than when they were introduced, other than Jadis, of course. But people were saying, it's stupid the way they speak. I kept saying they're going to explain it. They're going to explain it eventually. We're not going to get it, explanation right away. And they did. They did explain it in this episode pretty clearly. At first, I thought it was just they want to say things as fast as possible. They don't want to waste time because they say they don't bother. Stuff like that. They say their words in such short ways because they're trying to use the least amount of time possible to get things done. I don't know if there was going to be something deep behind that. But then we kind of learned that that's not the way. The reason they speak that way, the reason they act that way, is because they want to feel separated from society. They don't like how the world is, and they want to change how they act, what they do, how they speak. That's why they speak that way, because they want to change from the terrible stuff that's happening in the real world, because obviously reality is terrible in the Walking Dead universe, of course, and they want to separate themselves. That's why they go to this junk place and they don't bother. If they need stuff, if they need supplies, because they need to survive, they need to realize that they need to survive. They do go to other communities and they steal stuff. That's what they did to Alexandria. They waited till they got the boat stuff, and they decided to follow them back and steal it, because they're not going to risk their lives. They don't want to bother. They just want their stuff, and they want to just go home and just paint stuff because they're weird, okay? I think we've come to the agreement that they are weird people. They are, and that's not a problem. That's not unrealistic. There's weird people in real life. Tons of weird people. Tons of hippies, just like these people. If you guys know anything about history, actually, the beat movement during the 1950s, it was basically the start of hippies, which came around the 1970s. It was basically just people who tried to be different. They tried to separate themselves from society because there was all the bad things happening, like World War II, Vietnam, and Korean War and stuff like that. And they wanted to separate themselves from that. They wanted to separate also from racism and segregation and all that kind of other stuff. They wanted to separate themselves from it, and they said, all right, start acting different. And that kind of evolved into the hippies, which, if you all know, hippies are like the people who are like, yo, peace, dog. They got the long hair. They go in the RVs. They smoke a lot of weed. Those are basically what the junkyard people are based off of. Now, do I like those kind of people? No, I think they're freaks. I'll put it at that. I think the junkyard people are freaks. I wouldn't want to be friends with them in real life. Of course not. But that's not the point. You're not supposed to be able to friendly connect to all characters. You don't have to. That's not the point of writing. If they made all characters connect to the average person, that wouldn't be interesting. They're adding in unique groups like these junkyard people because they add uniqueness and diversity to the storylines. And I think they are a very interesting group of people. I was interested in them ever since they brought in that awesome spiked walker. I want to see those things again. I don't know if we will, but we saw like another one in episode 7. It was not really as cool as the one from episode 10 last season, but I love those spiked walkers. They are freaking awesome. I could freaking talk about those things all day, man. They're awesome. I just think they're awesome. But yeah, I always was interested in the group, and I always said, just wait, and they finally explained it, and it makes perfect sense. The reason they speak that way makes perfect sense. And then Jadis, she finally saw reality. Her friends all died. She realized, what's the point of speaking this way anymore? What's the point of acting this way anymore? My friends are all fucking dead. And just this actress, I don't know her name, it's like Polly McIntosh, something like that, who plays Jadis, did a phenomenal job. Just the look on her face, the way she screamed no, it's just, man. Like, Jadis went from being a character obviously I didn't care about to actually being a character that I don't know if I care about that much, but as a character, I actually am really interested to see her again. I don't know when we're going to see her again. It could be next season, could be later on. I don't know what kind of importance she's going to play to the story. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. And there are very important points to the junkyard people. They have a bigger purpose than what people actually see. First of all, they made the war bigger. They made the war larger, more expansive, and made it overall more interesting. Because the more groups there are fighting, the bigger the size of and the scope of the war is, which I think is a cool thing. They also allowed for us to see Simon's psychopathic nature in this episode. They also allowed for Rick and company to kind of get untrustworthy with groups, I guess, sort of, kind of, whatever it may be. But those are the importance of them so far. I think Jadis is still going to have an importance later down the line. Of course, they just killed off all the others. But I think Jadis will have an importance that we just don't know about yet. I do believe very, very significant importance. I do think she'll have that. And I'm hoping she does. Because I was very interested in her story. And then her killing all her friends that way in the freaking gory-ass way of that, like, garbage disposal was just disgustingly beautiful, man. Disgustingly beautiful. So that was awesome. And then to top it all off, we get the greatest Rick and Negan scene I've ever seen in the entire show. And they have a very heartfelt conversation. And I think people need to realize that Rick, people were like, oh, that whole killing Carl was a waste of time if Rick didn't change his mind. Of course, Rick's not going to change his mind right away. you have to realize it's going to take some time for the whole thing Carl said to actually implant in his mind. At this moment, he's just, he doesn't want to believe it. He doesn't want to, keep Negan alive. He doesn't know what to do, man. You could see the look on his face. Andrew Lincoln portrays it so well. You can see the look on his face. He is devastated at Carl's death, and he doesn't know what the hell to do with Negan anymore. He's done, man. He is just done. He doesn't know what to do, and just the way Negan, felt guilty at first, because he thought it could have been possibly them that got him killed. It was beautifully done. I am very, very, very happy this episode is a thing. And I'm very excited for the rest of the season, for sure. Complaints, because obviously every episode has at least one problem. It has to. There's no perfect episode in the entire Walking Dead series. Nothing perfect in the entire... There's nothing perfect. That's kind of just a thing that I point out. I think the only problem I would have with the episode, in my opinion, would probably be showing the junkyard people after Rick and Michonne got there in the very beginning. When they got there, they're showing the junkyard people already dead. Kind of took away from the mysteriousness of when Simon came there, because if they didn't do that, I might have been curious. Is Simon going to shoot them all up? Is Simon going to kill them? I don't know. I would be curious. I would be interested, because I wouldn't know. But since we already saw them all dead, you can make the assumption, yeah, Simon probably killed them. You see Simon there, you're like, oh yeah, Simon's going to kill them all. You can piece it together pretty fast. And then it makes it so it's not as much of a surprise. So I guess it's a problem. And also in the trailer, they showed them dead too. So it was like, well, why you gotta spoil that? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I thought it was a great episode. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. See you guys in my next one. Peace out.